Hello everybody, we're back from our time away and it's time to get this out over here-ish. Let's go. How's it going everybody? Welcome back to Make It and Break It. My name's Andrew and today we're trying to finish pulling the engine out of our Doritos Locos RX8 race car. So we left off the last episode with fluids drained out of this thing. I did end up getting a new plug. I didn't show any of that. A new radiator plug and put that in, and I didn't break it. So I'm already doing better than the last people who drained this radiator. I did do a couple things off camera. One, I pulled some cabling that I didn't remember to pull the first time. So there's the cross connects power over to your fuse box over here that I hadn't pulled yet. And then your main battery cables up to the front. There's a bunch of connections up for your front power stuff. I pulled those too. And disconnected from cross member, because if I didn't do that, I'd try and pull like the whole radiator out by its power cords when I'm trying to lift the thing out, and that's not ideal. So what we have left is mostly the transmission and then a couple little pieces off down here. So we're gonna go start popping those things off and hopefully get this thing lifted out of here soon. Well, I'm already super messy, and things have gone about as well as to be expected, which is to say, really hard. We pulled the AC compressor off the engine. It's kind of just laying for right now. I'll move it when we're getting ready to rig this thing. And then we found that I'm missing at least one AC compressor mounting bolt. We pulled the engine mounts, and those seemed very tight for some reason. And then we're now trying to pull the cross member. You kind of saw me messing around with it, pulling out breaker bars and things like that. And I actually have broken two of these 1/2 inch to 3/8 inch adapters. That's because I don't currently have the right size 6-point sockets in the 1/2 inch breaker bar that I'm using. So I've been using an adapter down to my 3/8 socket. But that's not working so well, as evidenced by these. So I need to go out and get a couple more 6-points, maybe a longer breaker bar, and see what we can do on these things. Wow. Every time I look at myself in this camera, I think, I really need to pressure wash this car, or I just somehow intentionally get as dirty as possible. Anyway, we took a quick break to watch the Denver Broncos lose. Sorry, boss babe, but you know, they are in fact the Broncos. And now we're back at it, and we managed to pull off a bunch more parts that are kind of sitting over here now. Well, most of them. So there's our alternator, which took forever to get off. We also managed, in among all of that crap, there's bolts for the exhaust, which is somewhere back there. Alternator bolts, and yeah. We did eventually manage to get our cross member off here. We kept our fasteners in there. This thing was a real pain in the ass. I think you'll see on the video, I had that breaker bar with that part of my jack used as a cheater on the end of it, and I actually broke those two sockets. So That was a little ridiculous. Focus on my dirty face. There we go. At this point, we're getting to the point where we're gonna actually start rigging up to the engine. So we're gonna get ourselves attached to our couple rigging points. One here, one back there. And then it'll be removing the transmission and the last couple, connections. And we'll start trying to float this thing out of here. So let's go try that out, huh? Alright, so we've hit a little snag here for the evening. So you can kind of see what our rigging setup's looking like. It's a Harbor Freight special, so you got your Harbor Freight 2-ton folding stand and your Harbor Freight 2-ton load leveler. Match everything as much as you can, people. That way you don't have to do the math. Just remember it's 2 tons. Problem we're running into is actually hooking up to our lifting points. So there's 2 lifting points on the RX8. One's kind of right here, and they're these little, see that metal tab that this hook is going through? These little tabs, and there's one on the front here, and there's one on the back here. Actually, I'll show you those on the other engine. Front, back. So what we're having trouble with right now is trying to fish this into that back mount somehow when I do not in fact have small enough hands to get in there. So maybe we can go get ourselves some nylon lashing or something like that and run that for that mount, or figure out something smart. But right now I think we're at a stop for the evening. So we'll pick this up in the morning. All right, new shirt, new day. Here we go. I managed, did a little bit of work, had to go run out and get some parts in case I needed them. Managed to get our engine all hooked up, and it does move. I did check it, although it's running up against our AC line. So I think I'm gonna open up the garage door and get some air moving through here in case I rupture an AC line, so that we can put all the real crappy stuff out that way. Let's go do that now. All right, new day, new shirt. Time to get this engine out of here, because fuck me, I need to get this thing done. Got this thing hooked up, and it actually does lift it really sort of well. And we're gonna start to try and rig this thing out of here. First things first though, right now we're still attached to the transmission. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift up, take a bunch of the mounts, the motor mounts out, and then drop this thing down a few inches to get us access to the top of the engine transmission area, where we can remove a bunch of bolts and the last couple connections and everything. And then we're gonna pull the bottom bolts out for the transmission and start slowly trying to work our way out of here. The AC compressor is gonna be real annoying. I can already see that now. The thing does not want to move into a place that I want it to be. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun today. Anyway, let's get to it. Yet again, the dirtiest man in the world. I wanted to show you guys a quick problem I was having when lifting this out because I didn't properly untangle my lines. And this might be a problem you guys will have too. So I want to show this. So we're looking right here, and got a bunch of lines running around here. So the lines that were getting tangled up for me were this one. This is, I think, the AC, one of the AC connections. Or the heater core connection, something like that. It's a part of the coolant to AC interface, I think. This line, which is your actual AC compressor, one of the lines from your AC compressor, and then this line down here, which is a, I think that's actually your clutch. So your clutch fluid and your clutch and brake line setup that runs down to your transmission. So I was having troubles because this line was caught between this AC compressor line that I had disconnected up here and the oil supply to the filter, or however this actually works. I forget how this works exactly, but this oil supply line, if we can get in here, kind of right there. So it was stuck right in here, and the engine was actually pulling it. Just the last thing that was keeping me from pulling it apart. If I looked a little confused, that's why. So I also had to untangle some of these hoses down here. They were not in the best position to get out. So keep in mind when you're pulling an engine with a bunch of hoses still attached, please make sure all your hoses are untangled and the stuff that's staying in the car isn't wrapped around the stuff that's coming out. So, food for thought, tech tip, whatever you want to call it. Let's finish up this pulling this engine finally. All right. Would you look at that? There's nothing there because it's there. So we got it out. That was a bit insane. So problem we were having is with our current chain setup, as long as they were, I actually didn't have enough clearance from the top of the boom to get the thing out while it was at the regular sort of height. So what I had to do was I had to essentially just let the car down on the quick jacks, you know. So I was letting the car down on the quick jacks, come around, readjust this thing, readjust the engine, come around, let the car down on the quick jacks some more. And that was, I mean, I kind of thought that might be the case because this is a pretty low ceiling, but also I need to do some modification of these chains because that's way too long, and I could probably get away with a shorter, maybe one link shorter down below. Also, I messed up all that sort of crap up there. But anyway, we have the engine out. So you kind of see where we're at right now. What we got to do is we got to take the stuff I want off of this engine, which is most of the intake parts. A lot of the hoses got cut off this, so I have to remove those and probably put some of these on there. And then we got to separate the the transmission from the engine here, and make sure we got all the pieces we want everywhere, and then we can go into pushing things back on, putting it back in there. We're running a little late right now. It is Tuesday night, and my track day is Friday. So I'm already paid on the track day, and I don't want to lose out. So what we got to kind of do is we got to get all the stuff from here over there, and some of our new parts, which I'll go over in the next video, into this thing, and get that engine in there. It doesn't have to be full of fluid, but it does have to be like in there, installed tomorrow, basically. So we have tomorrow to get the engine installed. Now, a competent mechanic could probably do that. Me, on the other hand, who knows? So we'll see how she goes. If not, Thursday I'll bring you guys. I'll be filming a video on prepping my Daily Driver Scion TC for its first track day. That should be entertaining as well. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to try and avoid the black lung here at the coal mine and go upstairs and relax for a little bit before I start putting parts on this car. If you like this video, definitely hit like. Comment down below if you found this helpful, interesting. Did I miss something? Was there an easier way to do some of these things? I know I had to jiggle around, and I definitely had to go back a few times and unhook a few things, but maybe that's just par for the course. So like we're doing in this channel, we have our Doritos Locos project. You can see the Doritos in the background. Back behind me over here, that's our Hypertenere project, which we'll start getting some new parts on here soon, and maybe go take it out for a little bit of dirt. And a bunch of other stuff. We got 3D printing stuff. Maybe we'll start showing the 300C again if I stop wanting to take an axe to it. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, definitely take a look around the channel. Subscribe, hit that like button, ding bell, the notification bell, that's it. And that way you get notified when we put out new videos. And thanks for watching. Again, my name's Andrew. This is the Make It and Break It YouTube channel. We had to improvise here a little bit, especially getting the engine out, which is kind of our channel motto here. We could have made it hard. We could have gone back and bought more parts. By the end of the day, we made it up and we got everything out. So, until next time, we'll catch y'all later.
Are you videoing this?
Yeah, I was just videoing the drop.